everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, Maddie and I wanted to share with you some of our more general movie and show recommendations. These are just some that are super cozy, lighthearted, and just have great messages. Some we've loved for many years, others we found more recently, and we just wanted to give you a list of some of our favorites.
So the first movie we're going to recommend is Inkheart, and this is based on the book Inkheart that we've talked about many times, and we have pretty recently, maybe a couple years ago, started watching this. I don't know how to explain this. It's pretty similar to the book, so if you like the book, you'll probably like the movie, but it's kind of cheesy. Like, how would you describe this?
It's not super high budget. I mean, it is fairly high budget, but it's also like...
It's not like the best movie you're ever gonna see, but like, we just really like it. Like I said, it follows like the same plot of the book, and it's about Maggie and her father Mo, who is a bookbinder, and he can bring characters out of books with his voice. So that's kind of the main plot. And so he brings some characters back to the normal world, and it's very adventurous, and it centers around stories, and it's just a fun, magical movie.
Next, we want to recommend a show, which is Larkrise to Candleford, and this is based on a book series that neither of us have read, but we have talked about this show several times, and I think we mentioned it in our book haul video. So this show is about the two towns, Larkrise and Candleford, and it follows Laura Timmins, who is a young girl in a big family, and she lives in the town of Larkrise, and she decides to work for the post office for Dorcas Lane, who lives in Candleford, and she's very much influenced by this woman and by all of the people who live in the big city, and it's like, it's not a big city, but you know, bigger than the little town, and there's just a lot of different dynamics with the family, you know, being worried for her and just how they don't really get along always, and there's prejudice on both sides. But this is really, really just lighthearted, heartwarming show. It's kind of one that you just start to get in the groove of, and then you just keep watching it. There's like 5 seasons, and we binged it for maybe a month.
Okay, the next movie is Onward, and this is one we've actually only seen one time. We had to come off of watching a bunch of terrible new movies, so when we watched this, it was just like, wow, this is so much better than everything we've been watching recently. So I don't know if that's the greatest way to recommend it, but we just really enjoyed it. So it's an animated movie, and it's set in like a kind of like normal world, but like the main character's blue. So I don't really know what kind of world this is, but so it's like this journey of 2 brothers trying to talk to their father for the last time.
So like he finds this magic something, and basically what happens is his father will be alive for like 24 hours, but what happens is only half of him comes back. Yeah, so, I
don't know, it's just a really funny and touching movie. It just like, it was just not anything that I had expected. I'd seen like ads for it for like a few years, and like it just looked horrible. So when we watched it, we was just like, wow, this really like just was everything that we wanted.
Next we have Robin Hood, which is a Disney like 1955. That could be really wrong, but anyway, from a classic Disney film that I love. It's very near and dear to my heart, and we watched it very recently, and it's so, I don't know, I just love it. I love the little foxes, the little animals are so cute, and just the simple story of Robin Hood told in a very enchanting, magical way. I love the voices, I love the acting, I love how it's like, it's vintage, it's British, some of them are British, and it's very classic Disney without some of the boringness of some of the earlier ones.
Okay, the next movie we have is Miss Potter. This lovely cover. This is the story of Beatrix Potter. I don't know how accurate it is, but we've really enjoyed this movie. We've seen it a couple times, and it is quite sad but sweet, and it's just kind of her journey as she becomes an author. Beatrix had been drawing since she was little and making all these fantastical little things, and so she decides to try to get published, which was really hard for her. So this was just a really sweet movie.
Next we have Ratatouille, and this was, I don't even know when this released, 2007 I want to say, yes. And so if you're not familiar with the story, this follows Remy, who is a rat living with his whole humongous rat family, and he's a little different because he likes to cook. And Remy's hero is Gusteau, a famous French chef whose famous line that he says is anyone can cook. So when Remy is separated from his family in a horrible accident, he ends up traveling to Gusteau's French restaurant, and he kind of ends up changing it completely. Yeah, this is just one of those movies that if you haven't seen in a long time, you definitely need to watch it. It just has the classic Disney Pixar humor and good messages and great story, and it is just played out in such a way that makes you very invested in the story.
So the next one is a TV show, and it is All Creatures Great and Small. This one was really popular a few years ago. This is based on the books by James Herriot, and it follows James, who has trained to be a veterinarian and is applying for a job in England, and so that's what the first episode is about, and there is 3 seasons. We have only seen 2 and our mom has seen the other one, but we have enjoyed this series so much. It's just such a refreshing and nice show. It's simple, but it's set in 1930s, and it's just the scenery and everything is just so beautiful and lovely, and it's funny, and it's just, we have enjoyed it so much.
Next we have Little Women, the 1997 version, which is, in our opinion, the best version, at least my opinion. And this is one that we grew up watching for practically our whole lives, so it is very, very near and dear to our hearts, and it is such a heartwarming, sad, beautiful film. And if you are not familiar with the story, which I assume everyone would be, it is about 4 girls who are being raised pretty much by their mother because their father is off in the war, and their mother is very much wanting to raise them to be hardworking, gracious, generous, and selfless people. And as they struggle to do that, and as they have temptations and go about their lives, you just get taken along their journey. And it is just very heartwarming, and it inspires you to be a better person. And it just inspires you to bring simplicity to your life.
What do you like about this version the best?
There's nothing forced about it. There's no modern agenda. You could tell that all they wanted to do with this was just tell the story of the book in the most beautiful way that they could.
So the thing is, this one is only for certain people, so whatever we say, some people don't like it, and that's okay. So we have The Lord of the Rings Extended Edition. Okay, so yes, this is such an obvious one, but we just had to mention it because we love it so much. So we understand that it's not for everyone, but it's definitely for us. So I don't really have a clue what to say about Lord of the Rings. It's just amazing. It's just such a good story, and I just cry every time I watch it, and I'm just like, this is so sweet and sad and lovely.
I mean, I truly think that it is the best films that have ever been made. That's my opinion.
I mean, there's of course parts that you don't like.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of fighting and gross orcs and stuff, but you just kind of look past that because there's just, I feel like with all of the different characters, there's just such good elements. There's some really heartwarming and hopeful scenes, but there's some really sad and hard things, and it's just all mixed up in such a great way that always leads back to the message that there is good, and we are all able to fight for what is good. I always talk when you're supposed to talk. And our last recommendation is one that we had to mention, which is Anne of Green Gables, the 1985 version, and this is, after Lord of the Rings, this is my favorite movie ever, and I just love this. It is again a movie that just tells the story of the book in such a beautiful way, and I don't know what else to say. It's just imaginative, it's beautiful, it brings out the message of the beauty in the world and how it is such a gift to just be innocent and imaginative and choose to see the good. I feel like it is definitely an acquired taste because you kind of have to be
an imaginative, artful kind of person, but if you haven't watched this, you just need to. You need to give it a try.
So those were all the movies and TV shows that we wanted to recommend. I'm going to be honest and say this was really hard.
Yeah. I don't think we really did them justice, so just know that.
So, yeah, besides our favorites, like Little Women and Lord of the Rings and Anne of Green Gables, it was like, what do we watch? We'd love to hear if you liked any of these movies that we liked or what some of your favorites are. We want to thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one.